Yeah.
It was obviously a great performance from the team. I think for us the most important thing was to win. That's always first priority, and then the way that we were able to win, that was awesome. I thought every single player that was out on the field today really, played an important part, that's how we wanted to start off the season. Right? I don't think you could have asked for a better start at home. So I think moving on. Obviously, it's another week. It's just one game. It's a long season. Can't get too high, and definitely, if losses come our way in the future, then can't get too low. Remember, it's just one game. So.
How are you feeling personally, having had the chance to get that January camp in and end that camp with a good performance? How much momentum do you feel like you personally have going into this
Yeah,
year?
I think this year, more than last year, I have a really good understanding of my roles and the type of player that I am. I think last year, halfway through, I really learned more about myself than I thought I would have learned as a player. And this year, like you said, a good January camp, one that I was very focused in and very willing to learn from Greg. There I was able to get a goal as well. So I think it gives me a lot of confidence moving forward. And here, it just comes down to the goal today, being in the right place at the right time. But being able to help my team is the most important for me. So it's great to add to the win, but more importantly, help out my teammates and be there for every single one of them.
How do you feel knowing you have your spot on the right flank as opposed to moving around the way you did last year?
Yeah, it's always nice. We have a good roster. We have great attackers, and that's what continually pushes me. If there's bad performances, it's Ben's not a guy that'll keep you in. He'll constantly rotate, and I think a lot of us saw that last year until we find the right rhythm. And so for me, I think the most important thing is being consistent, helping the team, obviously building the chemistry with Lucho, with Wayne, now with Leonardo. It's important. I think he had a great game today, and we worked really well. At times when we keep the ball when we go. Obviously, there's always room for improvement, but I think this is a great start for us.
Paul, this club tasted success last year in making the playoffs. What are the expectations this year? I assume, championship or bust in a sense. I mean, you guys have the horses in a sense to do it.
Yeah, for us, it's anything less than a championship is disappointing. We got a taste of what we're about last year, and we can continue to build on that going into this year. And I think it's going to be very tough. It's a long season, like I said, so can't get too high in the beginning. But continually winning. The playoff format is different, so it plays a big role. But I think we'll take it game by game and continue to push.
You guys had such a strong second half of last year, and then it ended, and then you had a couple of months off. I mean, how difficult it is to kind of ramp up and try to get back to that level where you were at?
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough. It's not easy. But the greatest thing that happened to us was this first game. I don't think there's more motivation than to play the champs and play them at home. It was a perfect time for us to play them, and I thought everyone reacted really well. I thought we looked lively. I think we had a great game. Like I said, always room for improvement, always little things to adjust. But I think everyone from the outside view kind of gets a sense that this is still the same team as last year. I think we're continuing to build on that. It's not just a new season. Continuing to build with the core group of players is important.
For you personally,
about this quote.
for you personally playing out wide in a lot last year, obviously going to be kind of physical. You seem to win that matchup each and every time that night. Was that something you focused on this offseason, or was that coming from just confidence?
No, you know what? I think it's confidence. I think it's how. And I had a conversation with Greg before I left January camp and the coaching staff, and I. Obviously, with a national team, you play in a different type of system, and my question to them was, how can you be judged at your club if you're playing a different type of way? and how can that relate? And he pretty much, long story short, told me that the movements and building the chemistry within the team. So I think a lot of the movements come, from it being in my mind for a month with the national team. Coming in the middle, getting in behind the outside back to try and bring a center back out, different things like that, and constantly just trying to do everything you can as an attacker. That's what your job is, right? It's okay if you lose the ball, going forward in the opposing area. And that's just kind of the mentality. Just go, and if it works 1 out of 10 times, then you're successful. And that's kind of how we're judged. And I think that's kind of the mentality I have right now. A lot of confidence, with the team, and I know my team always has my back. So, it's a good situation. I feel very comfortable out there, and I'm looking to continue to build on that.
All right, there's only one game, obviously. You said better said tonight with the attack. Looked like a couple times both Wayne and Lucho fell back a couple times. You, Lucas, just interweaving all throughout the attack. Just one game, how comfortable is it? That comfortable? You guys out there that quickly?
Yeah, I think it is. To be honest, I think we feel very comfortable with each other. I think, again, it comes down to understanding. And I think, with the players that have been here, obviously Lucas, fits right in. He's a great player. He has quality. You see his flashes of greatness and quality. And it'll take a little bit of time for him, of course. But I think for the rest of us, it's just kind of continuing on how we ended last year. Also, it's a home game. It's where we feel real confident, where we feel really comfortable. So I think there'll be greater challenges in the season, but I think we're willing to, take them head on and move past them.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Focus TV. We got Octavia White here, Cardell Dudley, Wilson Tarpe Jr. We have a lot to discuss. As you guys saw, Paul Areola talking to some of us good media folk after their season opening win. But we're going to start tonight's show off with the Washington Wizards. They currently sit in 11th place in the East. This is a big month for them. Time's kind of running out in terms of the regular season. However, the opportunity ahead of them, they have 9 home games this month. There was ever a time to put something together, considering you're just 3 spots back. It would be now. Cardell, you were in the building on Sunday for that game. So if you could just enlighten us a little bit on, one, how it went, and then 2, what to take away from it as they enter this heavy home league stretch.
Well, how it went was, it was a tale of 2 halves. Basically in the first half, neither team played real on defense. Second quarter, Karl Anthony Towns took over. I guess they figured that none of the bigs at the time, Thomas Bryant, was in the game, could guard him. And he proved that. He scored about 11 points. I think he had 17 at the half. He scored 11 in that quarter. And they took a 2-point lead, 64-62, and going into the half. In the third quarter, that's what won the game for the Wizards, Jabari Parker and Bobby Portis, especially Jabari. Jabari went off and coming off the bench. I think he had 4 points at the half. At the half. And he scored 11 in that period, which gave the Wizards a surge, and they outscored Minnesota, I believe, 35-23. That blew the game over, and they got the lead. And then Bobby Portis just kept the pressure on Towns. You know what I mean? Like he matched Towns. He finished the game with 26 points and 12 rebounds, which led the Wizards. And Towns almost had the triple-double. He had the guard, and in the fourth quarter, Towns only scored 4 points, which means nobody else to score. And they did a good job of making sure Derrick Rose didn't get off, and when he was trying to be aggressive, they contained Wiggins, and that's how they can, kind of cruise to victory. That was my takeaway as far as the same thing we always been talking about, defense. They decided to, as a team, play defense, rebound the ball. They tied, the Timberwolves with 46 for the game. And coming in, Minnesota's ranked 3rd in offensive rebounding, especially Towns. He almost gets about 4 a game. I believe the Wizards beat them in that area as well. They had 15 offensive rebounds to Minnesota's 12. We keep saying that. We've been saying it all year long. When they rebound and they defend, they win. When they don't, they lose. It's as simple as that. It seemed like it's cliche. That's what everybody say, but it especially applies to them. I don't care how well they play offensively. When they don't do those 2 things, they lose. And the thing I take away from it is, they're starting to get that chemistry with the new additions. Jabari, I know Scott Brooks after the game was saying he's still learning about their game. So he's actually telling Jabari, when you get the ball, go downhill. He's 6'9", 250, you know, crazy athletic, skilled. It's hard for teams to game plan for that because a center can't stay with him and a power forward is not strong enough to deal with him. So he always has a mismatch. And when he goes downhill, he pretty much scores every time he gets to the free throw line. And that's what Scott Brooks is starting to notice. Matter of fact, on one play during that surge where he scored 11 in the third, Bill got the ball. He got the rebound, gave it to Bill. Bill actually came up court and told Jabari come get it. And went and stood in the corner and watched Jabari go to work on Taj Gibson, got the and one. You know, and credit to Bill because Bill, he had a great game as far as number-wise, but he didn't shoot the ball well. And, you know, he realized that those two guys was going off. He took a back seat, let them kind of close the game and, you know, keep the lead up. You know, which shows maturity in this game. You know how it is, guys, when they're the top dog, they may want to just keep going and try to find that rhythm. He didn't care. It was more about getting the W, and he played excellent defense. You know, on their shooting guards were non-factors. So, you know, that's my takeaway. Can they maintain this? We all know they're a better home team than on the road, so having 9 home games, this stretch coming up is pretty much going to determine if they make the playoffs. They only about 3 games back last time I checked. They still have a shot if they handle business at home, and there's no reason why I don't think they should. You know, outside of Bobby Portis and Jabari Parker, the unselfishness, like I just talked about, Bill, you know, being willing to take a back seat because those guys had it going. It wasn't just him. You know, Sam Decker haven't played in about 4 or 5 games, ain't touched the floor. He got his number called. He came in, had 11 points and 3 assists in 14 minutes off the bench. You know, that was another key factor in the second half, which blew the game over. So now Timberwolves got those 2 guys going. You still got to deal with Bill. Now this guy coming in and getting buckets. You know, it's a hard pill to swallow. And like I said, you know, offensive rebounding, that was the thing. You know, I was most concerned with because Washington ranks 27th in the overall rebounding period in the league, and Minnesota's 3rd in offensive rebounding. And they did a good job on that end. And you know, I think with Portis being a starter now, he's a better defender than Thomas Brown, obviously offensively, but when he rebounds, I think that's what really helps the Wizards. If you can maintain that, they'll be fine. And they got a nice little test coming up with Dallas. They haven't been playing well, but you know they got to win these games, man. They can't look at the team like y'all not that good now. You know what I'm saying? Their record not that good, so they have to win. You know, you take every game like it's Game 7 right now.
Definitely a huge stretch coming up. And just one little caveat is what you said, talking about Jabari and Portis. I think one of the things some people don't realize is for much of the year, the floor has been kind of, you know, shaded towards Brad. Mm-hmm. One of the things those 2 dudes do is you can't do that anymore. And if you do, it's clear mismatches, like you're leaving people one-on-one in situations you don't want to be in. Because more often times than not, your best wing defender is primarily going to be on Brad. As
Right.
you said, that's giving Jabari ample, you know, freedom to just go downhill and cause trouble.
Yeah.
Bobby's ability to pop, and the other thing he gives you, finally somebody you can throw the ball down there every once in a while.
And I like the fact that Brooks, you know, he addressed, you know, Troy Brown got in the game, had about 7 points, you know, and they was wondering why, like, you know, with the record being in the season, why is he getting more minutes? And Scott Brooks was just frank, like, you'll lose the team. You know what I'm saying? He has to earn it. You know, he's a rookie, even though he was a high draft pick, he's a rookie. And that's how you lose teams. Teams know when you just giving guys spots. And he has to earn those minutes and earn the trust where I will be able to give him minutes if I, you know, put him out there, that he would do the job. And he played well, you know, in those minutes, but he has to continue to work and do those things. And right now, let's be truthful. You know, who's he gonna play in front of him? Tomas played well, Bill played well, Trevor Reeves and Jeff Green. You're not big enough that you're not gonna beat those guys out. And Jabari and you know, Bobby Portis and then Thomas Bryant. It's a lot of guys in front of you. So, you know, you got to be a rookie, and people don't understand that because they just like, you're drafted, you got to do that. But Scott Brooks is absolutely right. If I'm a veteran, I've been busting my butt, and you just going to hand the keys to him, I'm not trying to hear nothing else you have to say. So, you know, I mean, I respect that, and, you know, I'm glad he addressed it just frankly. You know, sometimes you just need that. One more thing, I was trying to look at the bench points. I think the bench points, Minnesota had points in the paint in the first half. Minnesota had 53 points in the paint in the first half out of their 64. That tells you about what I mean about their defense.
Yeah.
In the second half, the Wizards held them 34. So just defend, and they held Minnesota to about 14% shooting from three, which is also key on the defense end because they're known to get lit up from opposing teams when they shoot threes. So as long as they keep doing that, playing defense, rebounding, they'll be in games and it should go on the run.
All right. Well, in terms of the Wizards, we're gonna see you guys Wednesday. Follow Focus TV on social. For that, we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, got some DC United, some college basketball. A little bit after that, Octavia and I are going to talk a little bit about this NFL Combine that some of you guys are losing your absolute mind about for absolutely no good reason. And Cardell told us rapid fire is going to be real, so we're going to try to get to that point. You're watching the Focus TV. All right, welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, going to talk a little DC United. The Black and Red opened their season this past Sunday with a 2-0 win over Atlanta United FC. That is the other name for them, the reigning MLS champs. Paul Arriola scored the first goal in stoppage time in the first half. Luciano Acosta scored in the 58th minute. That's pretty much where your two goals came from. Atlanta is currently playing in the CCL, which is CONCACAF Champions League. Their lineups, when most teams participate in that, that's interwoven into the MLS schedule, so you're not getting your typical 5-6 days in between games. That being said, they did still send out most of their first team lineup against DC, made some changes in the second half. For about the last 20 to 25 minutes of the game, Atlanta started to look like themselves. Still, there's no excuses. It wasn't a game anybody was trying to lose if you're Atlanta. DC played them tough last year. For more in terms of the recap and the gallery, head over to MyMonosports.com. But a few thoughts I wanted to share with you guys from the game. DC United's press, it really impacted the game. They did a good job not really allowing Atlanta to settle in on the ball, especially in the first half. There were stretches in the first half where Atlanta really couldn't get the ball out their own third. Fluid and varied attack last year was pretty much all the good things that happened in terms of scoring went through either Wayne Rooney or Luciano Acosta. Yamil Assad also played a fact, but the two keys in that were Wayne and Lucho. One of the things Coach also talked about in preseason was they wanted to try to vary that attack. So teams can't just load up on those two and expose teams when you try to. You know how we talk about gravity sometimes, we talk about the Warriors and like Klay Thompson, Stephen Curry, when they move, defenses move with them, and it opens lanes up. They have a similar gravity in terms of Lucho and Wayne. No matter where they go in the field, you have to account for them. You have to know where they are because in a blink, everything can go left. So with them taking that much gravity, it really opened things up for Paul Arriola. One of the things last year, DC United didn't do a great job switching fields and getting the ball, primarily providing service to Paul Arriola. So he wasn't able to use his one of his greatest speeds is his pace, is his speed. And they struggled to service him on a regular basis. It's only been one game, but they're switching fields a lot quicker. It's happening in one pass. It's now taking 3 passes. They switch fields. The quicker you do it, it's akin to a really good ball reversal in basketball. It just puts the defense at a disadvantage, and now you're running downhill against the numbers game. You're winning it. And then lastly, their shape. They did a really good job keeping their shape, and a lot of that had to do with the two guys in the middle of the park, Russell Canals and Junior Moreno. They were outstanding. I don't have the numbers for that, but those guys really patrolled the middle of the field. They made sure anytime Atlanta got comfortable, they kind of snuffed that out early and quite often. And, it was a good opening win. I didn't expect them to be that together after, preseason. But, that was kind of the biggest question was, could you start off where you left off last year? Even Ben Olsen, the coach, was kind of like, that's the question he wanted to know the answer to. And, we found out this past Sunday that it looks like they're in the right place. So kudos to them. This week coming up, they head up to NYCFC, so that means they're going to New York. But the biggest thing last year, they struggled on the road. So you get an early road test, see how that goes, and they head back here for another home game. But on to college basketball. Cardell, I'm going to let you start, and I'll get into some Terps.
Well, GW Women's A-10 tournament began, and they failed to St. Bonaventure in the first round. Forward Neela Luma led the Colonials with 18 points and 12 rebounds. And St. Bonaventure guard Lisa Monaghan finished the game with a game-high 21 points and 4-6 shooting. GW fell 61-49. It basically came down to free throw shooting. GW shot 53%. St. Bonaventure shot 72%. GW finished the season at 10-20. So St. Bonaventure continues. They're 12-18, but they continue in the tournament where obviously they went out. They'll be in a tournament. This is more than likely to end. I doubt they're getting any postseason games for the women's. We talked before. They got to hit that recruiting scene. They got to get some more time, get some dogs in the A-10 tough. You know what I mean? And with the depth of the women's game getting deeper and deeper year by year, it's not enough just to have like 2 or 3 good players. Then you might be able to hit them with spark and make them run when it ain't like that no more. So, we'll see what happens with that. And the men's, they're on the road tomorrow. They're at 8:21. They face Fordham, who's 11-18 tomorrow at 7 p.m. And also Washington and Venice. Congrats to them. They're in the national tournament, NAIA D2 national tournament. In the first round, they face defending champion Indiana Wesleyan tomorrow at 4 p.m. as well. And Indiana Wesleyan, obviously, like I said, looking for their second straight championship, so this is a great opportunity for Washington and Venice. Make some noise nationally.
All right. After the Terps, they beat Illinois over the weekend, which was on senior day. They won their lone senior this year, Miss Brianna Frazier. Did not play. She's out. She's day-to-day with an ankle injury. And it was just kind of priority with the conference tournament coming up, not to play her for the last couple of regular season games. And just try to get to the postseason as healthy as possible because you're going to need her. The Terps got through that game. Taylor Meisel had 20 points. Stephanie Jones had 14 points and 9 rebounds. The Terps get a double bye in the Big Ten tournament, which starts Friday at noon. As far as Big Ten honors, just to run down this list, the Terps did not do bad at all. Taylor Meisel was named the Big Ten Freshman of the Year after making a Big Ten best and freshman program record 86 three-pointers this year and counting. A mark which led all freshmen in the country. She's also the Maryland's second Big Ten Freshman of the Year and the 9th Terrapin to win it for the league. Brenda Fries was selected by both the coaches and the media as the Big Ten Coach of the Year. This is her 3rd time winning said award. Kyla Charles was once again a unanimous first-team All-Big Ten selection by both the coaches and the media for the 2nd year in a row. Shout out to Stephanie Jones. This is the first time she's received Big Ten honors. She got 2nd team All-Big Ten, and most of it's because she scored in double figures 22 times this year, which
that'll do it.
that will do it. And consistency for a young team is big, and that junior class really did a good job. The other freshmen, you can't name one without the other. Shakira Austin, she earned a spot on the All-Big Ten defensive team after a 77-block season and counting. That's also a freshman record. And that's a mark that ranked 2nd in the Big Ten and 7th in the country overall. She's averaging 10.5 rebounds a game, 4th best in the Big Ten, and she's averaging 8.4 points, so it's just under a double-double. And some of that's just free throws at times. Austin also earned a spot on the all-freshman team with Taylor Meisel, and she got named an honorable mention by the media. Junior Sarah Myers was honored with a Big Ten Sportsmanship Award. So
a lot of awards.
They definitely cleaned up an award season in the Big Ten. But saying all that to say, as Cardell said, it's tournament time. We're literally at that part of the year.
March Madness.
Selection Sunday, Selection Monday. They're right around the corner. So conference tournament times matter, even if you are the number 1 seed. It obviously matters when you're a lower seed because that's your automatic bid. But if you're a higher seed, you want to get the best seeding possible. Because on the women's side of things, the top 16 seeds get to play the first 2 rounds at home. Something I wish the men would adopt, probably won't, but I think it's interesting. Cardell, if you didn't have anything else in college, we're going to move on?
No, let's move on.
All right, so we're moving on to the 9-4-50 breakdown. Jamal Hayward, each and every week, truly love this segment. This week is the breakdown of a controlled fadeaway shot. Again, the breakdown of a controlled fadeaway shot. I would love to be petty here just because it's a fadeaway, but we're going to keep it moving. After that, we're going to take a quick break, and Octavia and I will talk about who we thought stood out at the NFL Combine.
You gotta really turn your body over here, okay? So, here, our jab, extend it out, fade, okay? So, you gotta throw your body back. Here, you have the defender here. He's playing you to go straight up, you fade back, you can't block that, okay? He's gonna jump straight up, you fade it back.
Yeah.
So, open up hard, jab, okay? So, jab hard, shift with the jab, extend the ball out, okay? So you can see out right, left. So, here, right, left, fade back, okay? So, throw your body back, and go shoot. So I'm here. Here.
Okay, welcome back to The Focus TV. And as always, want to thank Jamal Hayward over at 9450 for the weekly breakdown. All right, so Octavia, NFL Combine happened this week. Twitter went nuts.
They always
Some people look like superheroes. Other people didn't test well. And some people don't realize that, you know, that's not football that's being played at the Combine. It's just physical test. So, that being said, who are some of the folks that stood out to you for either good or bad?
True. Yeah, I don't know why people always go crazy. Like you just said, it's basically to assess a lot of their skills. It doesn't necessarily take away from how they play on the field, but it shows them the baseline of their skill work. One person that stood out to me that I really like was DK Metcalf, wide receiver out of Mississippi. He's number one, he's huge. He's 6'3", 228-pound athlete. You know, he has 1.6% body fat, you know, and for him to be a wide receiver, it's going to be really, really hard for defensive backs and linebackers and everybody to get him to the ground and to even get to him. He's really fast as well. He has really strong hands. He secures the ball really well. He has great hand-eye coordination. And I mean, his arms alone, he has a 34 7/8 of an inch arms and extensions. I feel like he's going to be really, really good as long as he gets into a good situation and, you know, he stays on the up and up. I mean, he recorded a 40.5 vertical jump. So, I mean, he's going to be he's a great athlete. You can see that from the Combine. I'm just really excited to see how it transitions into the league and where he ends up.
Oh yeah, I just want to chime in on DK because everybody's going crazy about the straight line speed, and obviously he's playing wide receiver. You know, you have to have some suddenness and getting in and out of breaks. He didn't do really well in the 3-cone. Well, Jarvis Landry didn't either. Last time I checked, Jarvis Landry stays wide open. So again, 3-cone, all these drills aren't the end all be all. I implore you, if you feel some type of way, go watch what DK did at Ole Miss, and we can go from there. The other thing that I love that you said, it really depends on when he goes. Wherever he goes, if you ask him to be something that he's not, then yeah, you're gonna have an issue. If you ask him, like Cardell, we talk about all the time, with players going in good situations and coaches putting them in a position to play to their strengths, then yeah, you're gonna be fine with the things that he does. He's one of those guys where the quicker you get the ball in his hands, the better life's gonna be. You don't need him to do, you know, I'm not gonna ask him to be DeAndre Hopkins at times because you don't have to. You're bigger, stronger, faster. Sometimes that's okay. It's cool. But I want to throw out another wide receiver, Andy Isabella. A lot of guys look at him because of his size, 5'10", like 180, 190. So we're like, oh, it's a slot guy. He can play both inside and out at stupid speed for a quote-unquote slot guy. We think of slot guys as quicker than fast. Dude ran 4.31. He can move. Yeah. So go ahead.
Also, one other player I like was tight end Noah Fant from Iowa. I like him as a tight end because he's your old school tight end, but then he's your new school tight end, all kind of rolled in together. He has great hands. He's 6'4", 249 pounds. He had 78 receptions for 1,083 yards and 19 touchdowns in college at Iowa. I mean, he's fast. I mean, he holds the top 40 time among tight ends with 4.5. I mean, like he he's everything with that. But as far as him being like new school and old school, like tight ends mixed in, he can still push, block, do everything he needs to do because he has that weight on him and he has that muscle and that strength on him. So I think he's going to be really good too as well. And just piggybacking off what we said previously, like just where he ends up, I'm really interested to see who picks him up because, like I said, I think it's a great combination of like how people look at tight ends in the early 90s and late 80s and everything like that, as opposed to the tight ends that are coming out now who are more involved in the offense and have more plays that are actually ran to them and they're just not primarily blocking. So he was another one that stood out to me too.
All right, so I'm going to raise a fan. I'm going to throw on T.J. Hockenson, his teammate at Iowa. So I was doing pretty well. I know he has some bias here with Niners tight end George Kittle. If you want to know what school he went to, Iowa. It's also where Dallas Clark went to. So I was kind of making some noise. It's been a while since Dallas Clark, but George Kittle, Noah Fant, T.J. Hockenson, it might be a place where you want to get tight ends right now. And my last person I wanted to share was my draft crush. One of them, Montez Sweat, 6'6", 260, ran out there and acted a whole fool. Ran a 4.41. Again, that's at 6'6", 260. In the 3 cone, he hit 7, which isn't exactly a bad thing. He doesn't have the greatest of bend, but he makes up for that where a lot of lanky guys that are pass rushers, you worry about can they convert the speed and the power. He has no issue with that. He also has a very nice first step, which is why he's one of my draft crushes. But your last player that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, show a little bit of love to the centers. Garrett Bradbury from North Carolina State.
Okay.
A big guy, but he moves really well. He moves his hips well, keeps his feet in line well. He's good on. He's 6'3", 306 pounds, and to be able to move as fast as he is, recording the 3rd fastest 40-yard dash time with a 4.92 in the position group, you know, it ain't too many centers out there that's doing that. So I think he's going to be a good steal for somebody too. So I like watching him play as well.
All right, and then Cardell, this last person's for you. Your Maryland Terrapins, Mr. Darnell Savage. You know, he did what most Terps do. Go to the combine, test extremely well. 4.3, 640, 39-inch vertical. 7 interceptions in the past 2 years. 2 of them ended up being house calls. The only knock on him is size. But in a league that's not as physical as the league that we grew up watching, I feel like the size thing could be overstated, especially when you got folks like the Honey Badger out here where if you do what you need to do, and at least if you can get the stop that you need to get, you'll be fine. But I feel like that's just definitely one of those guys where if size is the only thing that's an issue, I think you'll be fine. Because from a cover standpoint, you know, you can't really touch anybody anyways the way you used to. So you don't have to worry about people doing too much to you. But rapid fire time, sir. What you got for us?
Okay, I'm going to start off with women's college basketball. California senior Christine, hope I don't butcher her last name, Anigwe, scored 32 points, grabbed 30 rebounds for her 30th consecutive double-double, helping Cal beat Washington State 80-58 on Sunday. Anigwe is the first player in Division I with college women's basketball with a 30-30 performance in more than 15 years.
Yeah. For you, Christine, I really enjoyed watching.
You know, my question to you all is, should she be in consideration for the top pick?
Absolutely. I mean, that's unheard of. 30 for 30, like she should just get her own 30 for 30 special just because. But I'm saying, like, even watching her interviews and things like that, she's so humble and she's so, like, she's like, I'm playing for everybody else. Like, I do it for everybody, like my mom, my teammates, my coaches. And just for somebody who has that drive to play and to do something in a game that's very, very meaningful, but a lot of people don't pay a lot of attention to, just piggybacking off talking about the Wizard segment. You know, one thing that when they struggle, they don't rebound well. For me growing up, for myself too, because like I was never a great basketball player. I was good, but I always remembered if you can master one skill, at least master that one skill, that's something that a lot of people don't pay attention to. It could take you far, whether it's defense, whether it's rebounding, whether it's, you know, being a floor general, whatever it is. And you can tell that she's mastered getting rebounds because she gets them like with ease. And she's so good and she's so poised that she's able to take it right back up no matter where she is and how many people are on her, because you can't stop her. So, I mean, I definitely think she should be in the consideration.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is one of those drafts where anything can happen.
True.
At the top. I don't feel like it's not one of the easy where you're like, oh, generational player, 1, generational player number 2. But I do feel like it's a deep draft class, a lot of talent, depends on what you want. I don't think she gets mentioned enough in terms of the bigs that people bring up. But as you just said, if you're a team that you know, say you're trying to contend, 30 and 30 is dumb.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. Like
that's crazy. And she's been consistent in the way that she goes about her business on both ends of the floor. I mean, why not? How can you not have her in consideration?
She should be considered. I don't know if they're going to take her because Asia down there, I think Las Vegas got the #1 pick. She has competition at the position, you know, with McCowans and Kalani Brown, you know, so from Baylor. So, but she definitely should be mentioned, man. Like that's. I know I looked at the ESPN mock draft with Michelle Vogel, who does a great job covering women's hoops, and then you know she had her 11th before, like early, like about a month ago, had her 11th going to Atlanta, which Lord knows that'll be hell. I mean, like, please don't let that happen, man.
They have enough.
Yes, we know. We saw that person. Yeah, like please, you know, they don't need another one, but you know. She should be in consideration. Heck, I wouldn't even mind seeing her be here. You know.
And that's a name where you're saying it. Keep that in mind as we get closer, because think about what is that not something that's missing here?
Yeah, well, you know, they don't have a physical body that can go in there and grab rebounds. Latoya, she blocks shots, but she's wiry. Delanon, she's not a banger. She stays on the perimeter more, and so does Emma. So that's what they're missing, and that's where Atlanta kind of gives them trouble. That's how Seattle definitely got them in the finals. They had more physical players inside. She fits that bill, so that won't happen. But she definitely should be in consideration. Staying with women hoops, we can go to the D2 side. Virginia Union sophomore guard Sharika McNeil broke the CIAA 20 scoring record with a 37-point performance, leading Virginia Union to the second consecutive CIAA championship. McNeil tied the CIAA record 59 points in the quarterfinals, 38 in the semis. And in the semis, I just told you about the championship performance with 37. At 5'6", do you see her with the WNBA future?
I mean, playing the way she plays, it's hard to say, like, you can't see it. I know the height is always going to be a knock on certain players, but it's not that certain players haven't been able to succeed in the WNBA at a smaller stature. But, I mean, her stat line is ridiculous. Like, she went 9 for 9 in the first half with threes alone. Like 9 for 9, like you ain't missing one. Yeah. And 59 points, tied a record. And she's already talking about something, I'm ready to try to break it. Like, I'm ready to keep going. So, like, I like her motor. Like, she got to have a motor in order to score 59 points in a game. Like, you got to be somebody that's moving, consistently trying to figure out what's next. You know, she credits a lot of her teammates for, you know, making great passes and stuff like that. So, I mean, I would love to see it. I definitely would love to see it. I think the biggest knock on her is just going to be her size. So, I don't know how the WNBA will look at it. But I feel like if she keeps playing the way she's playing, it's hard for them to look away. Like, they have to at least give her a shot.
I would say I think there could be a role for her off somebody's bench, just as for what she's doing. If she's able, the other part of that is you still would have to be able to do the other things that go along with your job due to your size. You're going to be playing one. You're going to be able to have to run a team well. But the fact that you can deliver some type of spark offensively, there is a precedent for this. Lilani Mitchell's been in the league for quite a while. She stands only 5'5", and she's not a great scorer, but she's found a way since 2008 to be on a roster. So there's precedent for someone that size making it to the league and sticking if she's built to deal with the rigors of it. There's a precedent for it. So.
I'm not so much looking at her size, and also I rely to do work. You know, it's. I think they more so sleeping on the fact that she's at a D2 school and can she bang with, you know, that level consistently. Right. That's the thing she would have to prove in workouts. When clearly she's arguably probably the top guard at the D2 level, definitely in the CIAA. I think that's what they're more so going to see, because you know you look at Ogunbowale, I don't want to put her name out, Notre Dame. She's about 5'8". Yeah. She's like 5'8". Yep. but she's a scoring machine. But she's proven it at the highest level of college basketball, so you can trust that more when you evaluating. Really, like D2 is just like, we gotta see. So that's the thing. I'm also, but if she could shoot that rock against that quality competition, the length and stuff like that, because now, similar to the NBA, now you going, like say a guard my size, I'm a big point guard, but if I get going, they're gonna throw those 6'9" dudes on me with the length and wing and athleticism to slow me down. Similar to what they do to John Wall and Bill. In her instance, they're gonna throw those 6-foot guards and wings at her that's athletic, just as quick, and got the length. So if she could perform against them, then she'll be fine. And that's just something we won't know until we know. But she should be considered in being workouts and stuff. She's just a sophomore, so, imagine where she'll be by the time she's a senior. So, it is what it is. Sticking with D2, Shaw 6'5" junior guard, Mary Henry. Same thing, CIAA, same conference, reportedly declared for the NBA draft after averaging 29.5 points, 4.9 rebounds, and 4 assists. 48% shooting from the field, 34% shooting from deep, and 89% shooting from the line. Should he get first-round consideration if he does well in workouts?
Just what you just said kind of resonated with me as well because, they always look down on lower division schools. So with that stat line as well, I could see why he would. But I feel like if he does well, like you said, in workouts against these top caliber players that have played at the highest level of college basketball, and he fares well with them and he's able to consistently prove that, I don't see why he shouldn't get at least a look. But I feel like, they always are looking at like D2 schools like, okay, what type of competition are you playing against? Like, are you able to do this on a consistent basis, night in, night out, against top tier talent every day? So I kind of feel the same way that you felt with the last question.
Yeah, I'm pretty much, is the point that you made for the young woman.
Yeah, that was a great point.
Pretty much applies here, but for him, if he kills those workouts, that changes stuff on that side for him dramatically. We've seen that on the NBA side. You go in your workouts and you kill, you tend to rise a little bit. Going back to her thing, it's a little bit different with that league because it's less spots.
True.
But
that's a good point.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Just the workouts are imperative. Like it's huge.
With him, for me, it's slightly different. For one, he has shooting guard size and athleticism.
Definitely.
And another thing that people are not looking at, he scored a lot of points, but he was efficient. 48 from the field, 34 from deep. He can get better at that, but 89 from the line. You see what I'm saying? So, even Sharika, she scores a lot of points, but she only averages 2 assists. So can she even play point guard and can she defend and stuff like that? With him, that's the thing I'm looking at him mostly. I got to see more film on him. Can he defend? The misconception is you put up a lot of numbers, you should be considered an NBA draft. Nah, though, it's like the first thing they're looking at, can you defend your position? Because guess what? You're going to be guarding somebody that can get buckets and make plays too. And if you can't stop them, we got to sit you down. Like, it is what it is, unless you just a all-world scorer. But even that, if you off and they give you problems, you got to sit down. But it comes back to him having to do well workouts. If I'm him, I'm telling my agent, wherever the top dogs are, I need to be there. I need to be there. I don't care how many. It could be like an NBA season. I gotta let them know how it is. And he's being compared often to James Harden, like ceiling, but he's being compared to Flip Murray. They came from the same school back in the day. So, both of them Philly boys and whatnot. So Flip Murray's been giving them advice throughout, letting them know what it is, what to expect and whatnot. So, we'll see. But he definitely has NBA talent. But like I said, he got to do work against those top guards. And, hope somebody don't overlook him. Moving on. Trevor Lawrence says he has no interest in sitting out to protect his draft stock. According to the Athletics' Grace Rayner, when asked specifically if he would consider sitting out, the Georgia native answered, no, that's not in the cards. Everyone's talking about that, but I don't really care about that. It's definitely not coming from me, all that stuff, so I'll just kind of ignore it, just keep working. What are your thoughts? Should he consider it? Should he just stay focused, keep developing?
I think he should I think his mindset is right on point. Like, I feel like he should keep developing and keep pushing forward. I know that's the big talk all the time. You have like a huge year or a great year, you know, you want to slow down, so that's the only thing people remember about you, so your draft prospect stays high. But I still feel like he has a lot that he could improve on. He did amazing this year, but what is he, still a freshman, right?
Yeah.
A true freshman at that, right?
Yep, just got through here.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, he still has battles and tests that he probably still needs to go through in order to really be prepared for an NFL season. So I definitely think he shouldn't sit out either. Anytime you play in any type of sport, you are always risking an injury. You're always risking whatever, regardless if he's playing in the game Saturday night, whenever, or if he's out in the backyard playing with his brothers or something. You know, you're always going to have that type of, it could possibly happen, but I don't think he should stop. I definitely like his answer, and I feel like he should continue to play.
We get to a place where this question is absurd. You are a freshman in college. Yes, you need to keep playing. Yes, you won a national championship. No, you did not have some transcendent year in which everyone's like, oh my gosh, what should I do? There's still a lot of room to grow, because honestly, if it's me, just playing devil's advocate, you coming from last year, I'm looking at who you were throwing to and asking, shouldn't you do that anyway? Like, we're looking at that Clemson group of wide receivers like, oh, those might be three dudes going to the same place you're going. Mm-hmm. So I can hold that against you. But again, he's not ready yet. Let him play. And I don't understand why we're at this place where that's even a question. You're a freshman.
I mean, it's just part of society, man. You know, everybody like to rush the process, man. Mm-hmm. Then wonder why when they get it, they lose it so quick because they're not ready for it, man. You got to go through some things, man. And you know, I like his mindset, like you said, man, I'm here to develop. And he realizes that, man, the NFL is a totally different animal. And if you can't do it, you be out the league quick.
Real fast. You know, and then be trying to go back to school.
Exactly. You know, sometimes if you can do it, you out the league, man. They, you know, depending on how much of
cutthroat business.
Yeah. So you want to be as well prepared as possible when you make that leap. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So his focus should just be keep getting better. Don't get me wrong, the kid talented. Like, he put on a show in the national championship game, but you know, keep growing, and then it might not even be just a skill and talent. It might be intangible stuff, being a better leader, being mature. You know what I'm saying, with the cameras in front of you and stuff like that. He may really understand, I'm not ready for all that yet. So let me keep growing, let me grow up a little bit. He might be still, you know what, look, man, I'm enjoying my party life, man, in college. I ain't ready for all that grown man stuff. So, you know, it's just real talk. So, you know, it is what it is. Mike Budenholzer, Milwaukee Bucks head coach, says he thinks Giannis Antetokounmpo should be considered for Defensive Player of the Year. What are your thoughts?
I think he should be considered for everything. Just consider him from whatever award they're giving out, just consider him for it, because he is an all-around beast. Yeah, it's like he impacts the game in every way, from the offensive side, from the defensive side. So I don't see how you can't at least consider him for the position, like for the award. Like, there's no way you can't consider him. So I definitely agree.
If we can consider you for MVP and you play both ends, I believe we can consider you for that award as well. I don't think it's too far-fetched. We're like a week removed from when he ran down Jason Tatum and blocked the dunk. Some other people on that level don't play that side of the ball, don't care to at all. You can take it however you want it, just simply saying. I appreciate the fact that you still do when you don't have to. Yeah. That's where the league is. If there's a lot of players where if you don't have to, they don't do it. Giannis, if someone else had the gifts Giannis had, and you can just do whatever you want offensively, there's a lot of people in the same position that would not play that side of the ball. And that's all I'm simply saying. So, yeah, he should be in consideration for darn near everything.
Yeah, I feel the same way. He literally can guard all 5 positions. Mm-hmm. Not just people hyping it up to say he can. He literally does it throughout the game. Averaging 1.5 blocks and steals at the same time. So he's doing on ball, off ball, help side. You know, and he don't foul out a lot. He's rebounding the ball, which is an extension of defense. People forget about that. I mean, he's literally what they call, he's a freak. That's why they call him a great freak, man. It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, he's a serious problem now. And I respect, like you said, he as talented as he is in his stature right now, to me, he's MVP. he plays with the motor of a guy trying to cut the lead, like he's trying to stick.
He played with a motor like a G League dude on a 10
Yeah, he's trying to stick, trying to go hard and stick. And that's refreshing because the majority of the league don't do that. You know, they lazy, they turn it on when they have to and stuff. And, you know, it's refreshing. So, yeah, he should definitely be considered for that. Moving on, Kyrie Irving, you know, I guess he's still pouting and whatnot after, you know, the loss and the losing continuing. He post-game said, I didn't really come into this game to be, you know, with cameras all up in my face, be famous, be a celebrity, whatever embodies that. It's a little hard for me. I wanted those things when I was younger, but now I just want to play basketball at a very high level. What are your thoughts on his mindset and his comments and interviews now during this rough stretch for Boston?
I'm just saying, like, what did he think he was signing up for? I don't understand. You chose this life. You chose to, you know, come out public. I mean, I don't know how public you want to say it was, but for lack of a better term, come out publicly and say you want to lead a team, you want to do this, you want to do that, and now things aren't going the way you wanted it to go, and now it's all this backtracking, and it's all, well, I didn't really want this aspect of it. Like, if you want to be the face of a franchise, you're going to be in front of the camera. They're going to ask you these questions. They're going to continuously say, well, what's going on with this? What's happening? Like, that is what you signed up for. So at this point, you backpedaling is only making yourself look worse. I feel like he need to put his grown man pants on and buckle down and just do what needs to be done. Like, all this crying and all this, I don't want to be the face, I don't want to do it. It's like, anybody got time for that. Either you're going to do it or you're not. And if you're not going to do it, ship out and let somebody else ship in that's going to do it.
I'm with Octavia, and then my whole thing is like, you made a movie, right? You made a movie. You can't go the all KD route now. You made a movie. you can't go, hey, I'm Uncle Drew, wrote that Pepsi commercial, this whole movie, and then now you want to go pull a page out of Kevin's book and I just want to play basketball. Nah, he already been consistent with that. Nah, you can't do that now. And the other thing is, this is what you asked for. This is part of being a leader. Every part of being a leader is about being accountable. That's why there's not a lot of leaders. That's why it's not fun. Leading is one of those things where you usually get the most credit when things don't go well. If you're a really good leader, that means things are going well and other people are getting the credit. That's what that means. So yeah, I kind of get the part that, like, yeah, you're trying to go through it, grow through this, and find your way. These comments don't help. I just don't have time for these comments. This is what you wanted to go to.
Man, these dudes just gotta stop. I want to use a different word. They gotta stop crying, man. They killing me with this every day, man. It's just like, dog, y'all blessed, man. You know how many? It's billions of dudes that would love to be in your spot, including me. I would love to be in the league in your spot. I'd be damned if a damn quote would get me all like tripping, man. I'm like, you know, and that, you know, bringing up John Wall. That's one thing I love about John Wall. We in the locker room, good, bad, or ugly. He there, he answered the questions, and he going about his business. The media, like Jalen Rose said it best, the media scrums last like 5 minutes. It's a dude right there, the PR dude, right next to us that may not be on camera, right there. Man, look, when he sensed that this dude getting irritated or the questions getting stupid, it's last question. That's it, and it's done.
Thanks, guys.
It literally takes.
Have a good night.
So that's about 10 minutes of your day, and you acting like this the end of the world. You crying. Look, if you was winning, it wouldn't be none of that. He'd be happy.
Everybody, look at me.
But y'all 3-7 in y'all last game, and it's toxic. But most of the toxicity in that locker room came from your comments, bro. That's part of being a leader. You got to own that. Go in the locker room, just be like, "What's up, man? What y'all beefing with?" And I know what they're beefing with. You dealing with men. They may be young, man, but you dealing with men. Talking about you gotta lead these young. I gotta lead these young guys. They don't know how to win. Excuse me. We got to the Eastern Conference Finals without you, champ. Without you, with you watching. So you gotta check how you approach them and stuff like that. And then you keep talking. It's like you talking like you're above them. They're not gonna like that because we put in work without you, champ. Like, chill. And at the end of the day, you're 25, 26. You're their age. It's not like you 35, like it's a clear gap. You their age.
You haven't been through enough to talk down to them like that.
Exactly.
At all. Secondly, the leadership style that you adopted, I ain't even gonna get too deep into that.
You adopted from somebody whose leadership is being in question right now. Let's call it what it is.
It doesn't work. But last question, Cardell.
You know, so like I'm just tired of that crying, man. They got man up out here.
There's no crying in basketball.
Yeah, apparently there's a lot.
Danny Ainge, sticking with the Celtics. He said Brad Stevens deserves least blame by far for the Celtics' issues. He said there's blame to share for everybody, but I would say this: he's the least by far of anybody that there is to blame, because I know that Brad is going to be prepared. I know that Brad is putting in work to do whatever he can try to help this team and fix this team. So that is the very bottom of the rung. I know that he takes more responsibility than anybody, in my opinion, as to the success and lack of success. He takes ownership in the things he needs to do better. Anyway, he's the least of all the problems that we have on our team right now. Do you agree with Danny Ainge?
I feel like Danny Ainge should have been quiet. Probably, if that's how he feels internally, he probably should have kept it to himself. Because to me, the key word of the whole clip is team. Like, y'all a team. There's no way that you're going to say, well, he's like 2% to blame, they're 25%, I'm gonna give you another 38. Like, no, like, it's a whole entire team, it's a whole franchise. All of you guys are to blame for what's going on, because you're all a part of the team. Somebody has each and every person there has some type of responsibility to the team where it's supposed to help them win games. That's what you're supposed to do. So I don't think it was fair for him to come out publicly and say that. And I mean, just going back to what you said, like, these are all grown men that are all trying to coexist in a situation. You can't sit here and tell no other grown man that's trying to work out every 3 hours a day, trying to watch what he eat, playing basketball, doing this awesome stuff, like, oh, well, the guy that walked up and down the sideline, it ain't really his fault. You know, but we listen to everything he tell us to do, and it's not really his fault, though. It's everybody else's fault. Like, I just feel like that puts a divide in a team that's not needed, especially for somebody that's not in the huddle with them every play. So I just felt like if that's how he felt, that's great. Keep that to yourself. Keep that to your little, whoever you talk to in your group, all your GMs, your assistant GMs, and all them people you talk to, that's cool. But to come out publicly and say that, and for your team to have to hear that, I don't think that's fair.
Boston people just need to be quiet. You gotta stop talking. Like, it just doesn't help. And love Brad Stevens to death.
Yeah,
but
he's a great coach, don't get me wrong.
One of the things he did, like, this one decision really affected this year. Like, it's just one decision. And this is not to take any blame off the players or anything, but to go back to that thing where you're talking about with Scott Brooks and making Troy Brown earn minutes, right? And I'm sure you know where I'm going with this, but Gordon Hayward comes back this year. Obviously not his fault, suffers a gruesome injury. You talked about the team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals without Kyrie. Obviously, Gordon's not there. One of the things that happened last year was Boston had two young wings grow together. Really, like, not only grow, but they took ownership over that team.
Not just two. Don't forget about Terry Rozier.
I'm sorry.
He played
Right.
too.
So you had a group of young dudes step up as needed. Obviously accelerated their development because you didn't expect Kyrie nor Gordon to go down for the length that they did. But once those kids did that, those comments that Scott Brooks says, it's just screaming right now. Because I know you had to get Gordon back into it. This should have been something where Gordon played his way back into it. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But instead it was, let's put Gordon out there and Gordon can play through this. You were just in the Eastern Conference Finals. These kids put it all out on the line for you guys. Their minutes shouldn't have been touched. And then you have the thing with Kyrie. The Kyrie thing's not helping this at all. But there's a lot of missteps that have happened, and you as a GM now coming out, just stop talking in Boston. Like, stuff's been done. The playoffs are going to start soon. Y'all need to get on one page sooner than later. And just all these comments aren't helping the situation.
I think sometimes everybody got to look deeper into comments. What he's saying on the surface is like he's just talking about Brad, but really he's sending a message to the players.
Gotcha.
Because it's a lot of dysfunction, and to me, what he's really saying is Brad Stevens gonna be here, so y'all need to get yourselves together. Otherwise, y'all won't be here. Like, he ain't going nowhere. Right. That's why he's saying he's the least issue. He didn't say totally, he has no blame. Right. He just said he's at the bottom. But what I'm seeing is it's a lot, and honestly, I think it's more directed at Kyrie because of what he said the other day. He was like, ask Brad, he makes the decisions right after I forgot who they lost to. And it's just like, look, man, ain't gonna be none of that throwing the coach under the bus type stuff. We gonna look, he here. I'm endorsing right now, kind of like what Pat Riley did with Spurs. No, he gonna be here. We ain't about to have that little crap going on. So y'all need to get with the program, bounce, or y'all gonna get up out of here. And I think that's what it has to do. That's why I'm saying, to me, Al Horford is more of the leader. He just don't talk.
Yeah.
True.
But he leads with everything else he does. He's the leader. That's why I feel like he might have to come out of his comfort zone and talk.
Yeah.
Right now, they ain't trying to hear what Kyrie got to say, because you just already threw him under the bus too many times. And really, if you looking at it, them young boys looking at you like, dude, you only got a chip because you played with that dude. So chill. You get a big shot and all that, but remember them early years in Cleveland when you was lottery, putting up a lot of points, getting hurt every year. Chill. So you gonna respect what we did. If you want respect, you gotta give it. And the main thing people forget about being a leader, you have to sacrifice first. You have to sacrifice the most. I'm gonna just throw this out here real quick, then we can go. Like, people always saying, well, Jordan had Pippen and stuff. Well, Jordan allowed Pippen to become Pippen as he got better. He could easily raise hell like, I need the ball in my hands, man. No, feels like this is the only way we can try to win. And then when Pippen showed that he can handle that load, Jordan gradually stepped back. Look, I'm gonna do what I do best: get buckets, defend, make plays when I have to and stuff. But Pippen was the point forward. That's how they became a dynasty. So you have to sacrifice the most to get the ultimate reward, which is what they're trying to get, is to get the championship. Now you in the 5th seed or whatnot. Now, right now if the playoffs started, you would deal with Philly. Now y'all have had Philly number, but that's before they got Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler. They ain't got nothing to do with that. That's Ben Simmons and Embiid. Yeah. So they come there like, that's y'all. We gonna change all that. So it's gonna be hell at the East, and that's another thing that's happened. People also forget. Last year, the East was basically Cleveland, Toronto, and the Celtics. Sixers were young. Mm-hmm. Now it's literally 5-6 teams in the East. You look at what Indiana's doing without Oladipo. It's 5 or 6 teams that can come out the East. It has become stronger. So all that stuff that happened last year, where they came in with the expectations like, we just add Kyrie and Gordon, we're gonna go right back. Teams got better.
It's not the same East.
So it's not the same East. So it's more competition and everything like that. So you are what your record is. They got to put the petty stuff aside and get ready for the playoffs. Otherwise, they're going to be out in the first round.
All right, folks, as always, we want to thank you guys for tuning in, both on social, here, Blizz.fm, and always every Friday right here on DC TV. Follow Focus TV, get over to finestmag.com and mymonosports.com. It's been another episode of Focus TV. We'll see you guys next week.